Welcome to another AVID chat. David Herpel and Jack Arnold. Jackson, good to see you today.
Good to see you, Dave.
We're entering that cool winter air in the morning, still a little sun in the afternoon. I'm loving it.
Yeah, Florida winter, plunging into the 50s. It's freezing outside.
I know. And there's no doubt about it. So if you're joining us today on our AVID chat, we're going to talk about stock picking and gas prices. Two things that are widely talked about, definitely in the news today, and we have conversations often about both of these things. So which one do you want to start with?
Let's do the gas prices one first.
Okay, so gas prices in general, I think, at least in my neighborhood, it's floating around $3.30 a gallon. It's definitely up quite a bit over the last maybe 12 to 18 months. But I think our perception of them is a little bit different when we get into the facts of really where they're at and how they've been in the past. Yeah. So I think you have recently seen some things.
Yeah, I think obviously there's this is the whole news, whether they sensationalize things or, it's kind of just there's always additional information. Nothing is ever quite settled. Nothing is ever quite as good or as bad as the headlines would make you believe. A lot of things kind of get, people take the small things, extrapolate them out into giant things. There's always lots of context around some of these things, and a lot of that gets lost in the news a lot of times, where most of us get information on these kinds of things, or from other people who then have gotten it from the news. So gas prices are kind of just like, it's one of those things. They're just like, I don't know. It seems like they're weird, like an often topic. I think mostly that's because, pretty much everybody buys gas for the most part. If nothing else, You see the prices posted outside all the gas stations around town. So it's pretty obvious. Like, they don't post the Snickers prices outside. It's just gas. So it's like, it's very salient. It's like very in your face. So it just tends to come up a lot. So it's been a lot of conversations about gas being expensive and releasing the strategic oil reserve and like petroleum reserve and lowering gas prices. A lot of talking about that. So I was looking at, I have a chart, maybe, I don't know if I can share the screen or maybe we can put this in the notes, but there was a chart of inflation adjusted gas prices since the 50s or something, quite a while. And it was interesting to look because you would see, obviously $4 today or $3 today per gallon is not the same as $3 or $4 a gallon in 1970. Clearly, that $3 in 1970 is a lot more than $3 today. So you have to kind of adjust these things for inflation, kind of normalize them. So you're not just saying, you're not comparing $3 a gallon of gas price today versus a $3 gallon of gas 35, 40 years ago, because again, they're just different. So you're going to normalize it by inflation. And if you do that, what you'll see is that gas prices today, the average, I guess, is actually below average, inflation adjusted, than where it has been in the past. So it's hard to say that that's super expensive. That doesn't mean it's not fun, and especially the rate of increase. Like if you go from $1.50, or I don't even know what it was 18 months ago, maybe it was $2, but going from $2 to like $3.75, like that rate of change is a lot. But having it be $2 or something, $1.50 18 months ago, was actually even more below average. We've just gotten a little bit closer to the average. So I don't know if it's as much about gas prices as it is about, it's hard to ignore the kind of breathless, just like falling over themselves about gas prices thing you get from the news. But there's got to be some context to it. Like, how expensive is it really? This certainly isn't the 70s or the early 80s or 2008, 2012.
Well, yeah. I can vividly remember 2009 because the old office, that I was working out of was right there on the corner of 4th Street and 9th or close to it. And I'm filling up. I think, what did I have? Like a 2013 GMC Envoy. So it wasn't massive, but I filled up and it was almost $70. And it was about $4.50 a gallon or close to it. And I just thought, this is ridiculous. And, it wasn't that long ago that it was basically what 50% higher than we're paying today.
Yeah, right. Did I hear you say in 2009 you had a 2013?
I think I did say
that's
that.
Incredible.
2003. I missed. I like to throw in an extra one in there.
Yeah,
that's a great catch. See, you know what? I'm getting older and my memory is slipping, so it just happens.
But yeah, I mean that's a good point though. I mean I think a lot of people that will probably listen to this can vividly remember. I remember it being $4 a gallon, like in that time frame. Whether that was 08 or 09, I don't know. But I do remember it being pretty expensive. So anyways, I guess the point is to not say it's nothing. Obviously it's something. And obviously you have to buy gas. It sucks that it's gone up in price. But in the grand scheme of things, it's actually below average of where it's been. I can't tell you. I don't have the thing right in front of me. Maybe it's the last 50 years. In terms of the average cost. We could probably put that in the...
Well, let's just see how good I am with technology, because I was trying this earlier while you were talking. So can you see my screen?
Yep. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, that one.
You're not... Yeah, but is it as big as the whole screen? Yeah. Here, try this. What about now?
Good enough for government. Looks good. I like it.
I can't see you at all. All I see is this massive
you're not
chart.
Listening to anything. Yeah, that one. Obviously, I mean, you can. I think we can still put this in the notes or in the email when we send the video out. But yeah, this one, like it's just kind of interesting to look at, to go back and see, like some of these prices. I think everybody kind of knows how there's oil embargo and all these things going on in the 70s, so it's not a surprise that it was expensive then. But even going back, like I said, to that kind of 2012 even time frame, it was It was pretty
$3.99 as an average.
Yeah,
right. So, and those were averages, so depending on where you were in the country, that
correct.
That was different everywhere.
Yeah. So anyways, thought that was interesting.
Anywho, yeah. So let's see if I can get back to regular screen. How about now?
Perfect. You're a natural.
All right, here we go. Man, I'm turning into a tech whiz.
So that was one. The other one was a chart of, or a list, I suppose, not so much a chart of kind of these, a lot of kind of hot stocks. I don't know how else to explain them. Things that were just kind of darlings of the market. They had kind of run up a whole lot in a short amount of time. Some of these maybe are more well known to other people. But it was just a list of where they are. This is actually as of November 21st. So this is about 10 days ago. Okay. By the time this comes out, it'll probably be a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
Just in that, obviously that can change, but kind of where they are from their all-time high in terms of, so just be like a drawdown from top to bottom, kind of where they are now.
I feel like you're going to say they're not as high as they used to be.
Yeah, not quite. So I'll just kind of go through this list. There's probably 25 on here or so. Again, we can probably put this in the email, but...
And to interrupt you, was this like somewhere you read or just on
Twitter
site, or how'd you get to it?
On my fave. So it's like, for instance, PayPal's on here, Twitter's on here, Snapchat, Lyft, Pinterest, Roku, Zoom's on here. Trying to pick out some of the maybe better known. Zoom, Robinhood, which is kind of just like the hot topic, it seems like, for the last 12 to 18 months. Beyond Meat, Virgin Galactic. Virgin Galactic was a SPAC. We talked about SPACs in the past video.
Yes.
Lemonade, it's an insurance company. It's supposed to be kind of next level. They use all kinds of AI and blah, blah, blah. It's supposed to be the greatest thing ever. IPO'd. Peloton, I think most people know what Peloton is. That was a big time kind of pandemic stock. Nobody's ever going outside to exercise. Everybody's going to go and be inside the rest of their lives.
Just,
Zillow's on here. Stitch Fix, if you know what Stitch Fix is. Clover Health was another one. That was a SPAC. That was a big deal. Funny enough, Clover Health and Virgin Galactic were the same guy. Chamath, I guess. So anyways, there's a bunch of things on here. Nikola, I don't know if you know much about Nikola, but that was one where they kind of faked the electric SUV rolling down a hill. It's like blatant. It's odd because it seems like it's kind of blatant fraud. And it sounds, anyways, that's maybe another topic. But so, anyways, these are all kind of things that it just had. They went up a lot. They were kind of
Yeah, they were.
yeah.
Well, I think if you can't, you know Zoom,
Yep.
because
Sure.
our world has now revolved around Zoom meetings and definitely through the pandemic. So yeah, I remember the thing wasn't it up crazy in a day, like 40% or something?
Yeah, it was up like 40% in
day.
a day at one point. This is like,
Yeah,
maybe this is in 20 or so.
mid pandemic probably.
Mid-pandemic. So it went up 40% in a day. You know, it's down 55% from its high. And honestly, that's one of the better ones. So like Clover Health, this was a SPAC. Like this is back, let's call it 8 months ago, 10 months ago. I'm trying to think where we are now. Maybe towards the beginning of the year, like this kind of SPAC craze, special purpose acquisition companies. Yep. That was like the thing. Get a SPAC, bring new companies public. They were just like going crazy. Everybody wanted to own a SPAC or raise a SPAC, these kinds of things. So Clover Health was one of those. It was down 74% from the high. You know, Beyond Meat, wasn't really a pandemic thing, but there was a time that Beyond Meat was like the thing. Like I think it IPO'd and was up a whole bunch, down 67% from the high. You know, Robinhood, which hasn't been public for very long, but down 58, almost 59%. So it's more just to not necessarily dog on the companies in particular. Some of these things might end up being great companies and be around for a long time and do very well. I can't say either way. It's more just how difficult it is to pick individual stocks and kind of ride them up and down. Like PayPal being down 37% from its high. Like PayPal's been around for a long time. It's been a pretty good stock as far as I know. I can't say for sure, but you know, that's tough. Like what's to say, like I don't own any of these individually, but what's to say that if I did, like how am I feeling about Zoom, which we use all the time, being down 56% almost? Like what am I doing right now? Am I saying, no, this is the future, or I was wrong, I need to sell it, and like what if it just goes sideways for 4 more years and it doesn't, like these are all the mental games that go on in your mind when you actually hold some of these things. And this is just kind of illustrating it's difficult, especially when you're concentrated in an individual stock. And a lot of these things on here, like I said, I mean, these are like good companies. Or I mean, what I would say are popular companies. You could definitely make the case
I was gonna say,
for them being kind of the thing of the future. You could easily make that case for many.
I'm sure that everybody that listens to this has heard of at least half of the one that you've said. A few in there, maybe not, but there's some super big names. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in practice, we would say just be mindful if you're doing these individual stock picking and buying and maybe getting caught up in the hype to be that, you know, it's not always doom and gloom. You could get something and it could skyrocket, but you have to be mindful that if it's more about the talk and less about the fundamentals, or you don't know a whole lot about it, I mean, you don't want to put your whole financial plan and net worth into riding on these, you know, hopes of a home run, so to speak.
I mean, you can, but this is the kind of thing that you're going to have to deal with from time to time. And you just need to be aware of that. I don't know how much I should stress this, but I don't own any of these stocks individually. I'm not saying to buy them. I'm just want to make sure people don't construe this as like to go out and buy it. It's more just illustrative of this is the kind of stuff you have to deal with. It's not to say any of these are good or bad or otherwise. Just kind of hedge ourselves a little bit. I'm not buying any of these. And some of these, like I said, may end up being good companies going forward, and some of them could be complete garbage going forward. It's hard to really say, which again is probably part of the point of this.
Yeah, that is the point. That is, you don't know. You don't know. Just like, you know, before it reached its high, it was at this level, and you probably didn't have any idea that it was going to go up 75%.
Yes.
So
So, anyways.
It's a lot easier to talk with hindsight knowledge than it is with some sort of like definitive, I know what's going to happen in the future. It's possible, it happens, but I wouldn't say it's a consistent way to invest.
Correct. Yeah, it's easy to dispassionately look back at the past when you already know what ended up happening and saying, yay, these things go up and down. It's easy to say that when you're not living through it and you really don't know what the resolution is to that. Like, is this going to go back up? Will this actually end up being a good investment? And what if that good investment over the long run, I get nothing for 6 years and then all of it in the last 4 years, but I don't stick around long enough to actually get the good 4 years of the investment? Like, that's the tough part. Like, it's very difficult to do.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So this was fun. A couple of little hot topics floating around there. Some stock prices and gasoline prices. If you have any topics you want us to talk about, go to our channel, make a comment like this, send us an email. We'd love to do something that's on your mind so that we can shed AVID's thought. Jack, good to see you.
All right. See you, man.